In this video, I'm going to redesign this app so it looks a bit more slick, a bit more professional. Let's go. Hey, I'm Parvin. I'm a design educator who teaches people how to get better at using Figma. Over on the Figma subreddit this week, someone posted this app design and asked for some constructive criticism, and there were some great suggestions coming through in the comments, really good replies, and I asked the person who posted if they wouldn't mind me reviewing their app design in a video. So that's what this video is. Let's get right into it. So the first thing I want to look at is this illustration. So this is kind of a stock illustration. I'm not sure if the designer made this themselves or used a stock illustration website for it, but it's not super high quality, and I think changing this out would be the very first thing to make the app feel a lot more premium. Using higher quality stock imagery or even stock photography would really boost how professional this app feels. Secondly, I want to look at this icon here. Now I'm pretty sure this is the app icon, the turquoise circle with the pizza icon, but I'm not sure what the rectangle around the outside is doing or the little chevron below it. I think maybe there's some functionality there which I'm missing. But on this very first screen, we don't really need anything else. We just need that big get started CTA. So getting rid of that, changing out this image, would be the first step to improving this. Thirdly, I want to look at the lorem ipsum. Lorem ipsum is placeholder text. It's a bunch of Latin words that don't mean anything, and designers use it in lots of places to block out where content should go if they're not sure what the final copy is. But on screens which are this high fidelity, I'd really expect to see the final text in place. The problem with using lorem ipsum is it means you don't think about your content design, you don't think about what copy is needed in what places. And that means you just end up having to fill it up with garbage copy where you could have just done without any. And especially on this screen where we've got the hero sentence, food delivery at your doorstep, anytime, anywhere, I think that's all we need here really. It tells us the value proposition of this app. So I would suggest getting rid of that entirely, but if there is an intended copy that should be going here, putting that straight into this design. Number 4, the inputs. So let's look at these inputs. Now, these don't really feel like input fields, and this is a problem because of something called Jacob's Law. Jacob's Law is a usability law, UX law, which states that users spend the majority of their time in other apps, other products, other services, which means they expect your app to function the way that all those other apps work. An app is more usable if you don't have to learn new behavior specifically for it. And right now, these don't look like input fields that you'd see in other apps. And the reason for that is because of this bottom border, bottom shadow, in this punchy, contrasty yellow. It just makes the whole thing feel raised. It makes it feel more like a button which is coming off of the page. Now, if we want to talk about depth, input fields should feel more recessed, so you could do that with an inner shadow, and then it feels like when you click onto it, you're inputting something into it. But given how flat the rest of this design is, these nice graphical elements which show the color theme up here, I don't really think we need any depth here. The other thing with these inputs is the placeholder text doesn't feel like placeholder text. So when we zoom right out and do a squint test and squint at this, it looks like something has been filled in. So I would get rid of those bottom strokes, and I would change the placeholder text to have a lighter gray so it feels less like you've already entered text. I also think we don't need to say enter your, enter password. So I think all of those things can go as well, and we'll just have name, email, password. We don't even need ID. That's not something we see really with input fields. Next up, I want to talk about this icon up here in the top left. So this is the main home screen of the app, and I'm pretty sure this foodine icon is the app icon that we'd see on the home screen of the phone with all our other app icons. But here we don't really need it. We don't really need the name of the app here. So I would get rid of that entirely. Or if we do want to keep it, maybe put it over here where we've got Welcome David, and maybe have a profile picture up here, which is a more standard place to see it. To be honest, we haven't seen anywhere to upload a profile image during the profile flow, and we've also got the profile icon here at the bottom in the tab bar, so not necessary either. But if we do want to keep that image and that personalization, saying Welcome David specifically, I think that top right would be a better place for it. Next, I want to talk about the tab bar. So these icons are all quite familiar, quite recognizable. We've got home, settings, egg frying pan, and then profile. I'm assuming this is meant to be search. And one thing which could really help here is if we had labels for these icons. And this is a usability heuristic called recognition rather than recall. Now, heuristic and recognition rather than recall, these are all super long words. Basically what it means is it's easier to recognize what's going on if the information you need is right there for you. It means you don't have to go away and remember or recall anything. So by just having the words home, settings, etc. under each of these tabs in the tab bar would get a much better user experience. I want to talk about the call to actions and specifically the text on the call to actions. So you can see here that the text is a super heavy weight and it's a lot larger of a point size than the text elsewhere. And actually, if we look at the text all over the app, we can see we're using loads of different text styles. So here we've got one point size in bold, and then the same point size but in a lower weight, so more of a regular weight. Here we've got it larger and even heavier still. Then here we've got two more, because we've got that, and sign in is a heavier weight. Then moving along, I'm pretty sure that's a lighter weight as well. Here we've got the category names in a different weight. I think this is a different weight as well. So by having this many different type styles, it just makes the app feel a bit less consistent. I think it's MDS who says you need a maximum of 4 point sizes. But for an app or for a set of screens this simple, I would say you only really need 2. That normal size, which we could use for the CTA as well, and then maybe a smaller one, so here where we've got already have an account, or for the category names on this final screen. So we could really drop that down, which would help a lot. And when thinking about the illustrations, looking at the rest of the app, so we've got another stock illustration here, which again doesn't feel super high quality, but then on the next page we're using photography. So we've got a photo of observer or a delivery driver there, and then photos of all these categories of food. So I think being consistent with choosing between photography or illustration will really help. Obviously, when you've got a much bigger app and you've got a much bigger product and more design and brand guidelines, you can then work to set out photography guidelines and illustration guidelines that match up together. But for a very simple set of screens like this, I'd expect a bit more consistency, and an easy way to get that consistency is by using photography everywhere. So what we'll do for those illustrations is switch them out for photographs. That's it, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot to me that you've taken the time to watch this short video. If you like this video, please make sure you hit like below and leave a comment about what you think I could do better. I'm always looking for feedback to make these videos better. If you want to help me out, the best thing you can do for me is to share this video with a friend or a colleague who you think might find this video useful. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.